Jackie was the first Māori woman to earn a master's degree in New Zealand. She completed that in 1952, and she began writing short stories, and quite a few of those short stories about her experience being a Māori woman, a young mother with 2 small children, living in a New Zealand city at a time when there weren't many Māori there. So she writes quite a bit about issues of assimilation and what it means to stand out when you're the only person like you in a large group of people. When she reconnected with family who lived up into Urewera and the Bay of Plenty, she was shocked by the lives that they led, the conditions that they lived under. They were rural Māori, they were impoverished, and they didn't have any chance of getting ahead. And as the poem says, their lives were really ruled by what Pākehā decreed for them. And this, I think, stoked in her a substantial anger, and as a result she wanted to write about it. She needed to express what she felt about it, and that's the genesis for the poem Brown Optimism. We found Brown Optimism among Jackie's papers. After she died, we began sorting through them in preparation for sending them to the Hocken Library for careful storage and curatorship. And there was a box that had quite a bit of early writing in it, magazines and handwritten notes and handwritten poems. And in there was one small clipping. It was a bit torn, it was cut out, it was a bit dog-eared. And there was this poem, Brown Optimism, which whoever the editor was had sort of jammed it in there as sort of tightly as they could. The lines all ran over, and there were no stanza breaks. When I read Brown Optimism through, I realised that this was her first political poem as a Māori. We didn't really know where it came from. My guess was that it had been written in the 1940s and probably published in a student magazine. And the likely magazine was Critic at Otago, because that was where Jackie had begun her studies when she was hoping to get into medical school. And we found out that it was indeed Jackie's second ever published poem, and it appeared in the magazine Critic in 1947, about halfway through the year, very shortly after she turned 20. The fact that her second ever poem was so political, so powerful, there was so much sort of contained anger, but thoughtful anger. There's a problem here, what's the solution? Here's what I think the solution is. That really struck me. Here was a 20-year-old Māori woman, 80 years ago, having just seen how her whānau were suffering under colonialism, and saying, this can't be, we have to do something about it, and throwing down this challenge. And it's a challenge that is still real, it still exists, it still speaks to us. She chose the nom de plume J.C. Sturm in part because she didn't want her writing to be about her, she wanted it to be about her writing. And so, she kept herself out of the limelight for a long time. People she was very close to had no idea she was the writer J.C. Sturm. She kept those parts of her life separate. She was trained to succeed in the Pākehā world, and she did. She realised that she could be held up as a model for Māori, that if you do what J.C. Sturm has done, you'll succeed in the same way that she has. And she didn't want that, because to her that was negating a lot of the things that she discovered were most precious to her, and that was her Māori heritage, her whakapapa. She wanted to say that I can be who I am without needing to be transformed into a version of you, because she had seen the issues that happened. If you didn't assimilate, then you could be treated very negatively, and she was out to make sure that didn't happen.